Hi, I'm Bob Kovacs, and this is a review of the Magnus VT-200 tripod. With the legs collapsed, it's about 21 inches long, maybe a bit more. With the legs fully expanded, and you use these flip locks to expand the legs, the height of the tripod itself is about 50 inches. The VT-200 has a crankable center column that you can elevate. Unlock it with this knob and crank it with the crank, and you can raise it so that the overall tripod height is about 60 inches. Molded into the top of the tripod is a bubble level. The Magnus VT-200 is designed for video operation, not so much for photography. You can put a photographic camera on it, but you can't flip it over for portrait shots like you can with a typical photographic tripod. This has a smooth feeling pan tilt head that has a fluid feel. The legs are made out of metal, but almost everything else is made out of plastic. In the case of these leg locks, it's pretty heavy-duty plastic. They feel pretty sturdy. But still, I don't want you to think that this has a lot of metal in it. Really, the only metal is the legs. The pan tilt head has locks for the pan and the tilt. Now these are locks. They're really not intended to increase the amount of drag. They will do that a little bit, but I wouldn't recommend them because they might be not consistent in the way they work. There's a pan handle that you can loosen and rotate depending on how you want to use it, and it locks in place with this knob here on the end. The legs are held in place with this mid spreader, and the spreader is locked using this ring. Now notice these rods here, these have a fixed length, so they can't be adjusted to allow the legs to be at a different angle. So the angle of the legs is fixed. At the bottom of the legs, there's feet that swivel to conform to any surface. Magnus gave a spare set of feet in case these wear out or get lost. The top of the tripod has a quick disconnect plate that takes a pretty firm press of the lever to release. Unfortunately, the plate itself is made out of plastic. It's pretty thick plastic, but it is plastic, so you need to be careful about that. It has a standard 1/4-inch screw here to attach to the underside of the camera, and this locking pin that unfortunately none of my cameras use. The underside of the screw has this little lifting aid on it to allow you to tighten the screw more easily. One of my cameras is a Panasonic GH3, and the quick disconnect plate works perfectly on the underside of the GH3. When it's attached, it's nice and firm and doesn't twist. Another one of my cameras is the Panasonic ZS100, and when the quick disconnect plate is attached to the ZS100, no matter how hard I crank it, if I really twist it on hard, it's still loose. So I'm going to need to do something to build up the surface of this quick disconnect plate so that it's firmly attached to the bottom of this camera. The elevating column has this lock nut on it. With the nut not locked, the column will actually lash in place there, so there's a little bit of slop when you try to do a pan. It's not horrible. Of course, you can eliminate that by locking this down, and now that lash goes away. The VT-200 feels pretty smooth for both pan and tilt, and I can do pretty smooth pans and tilts with it. Now if I let the arm go, it drifts down. So if you're going to let go of the pan arm, you're going to need to tighten the lock. The tripod has a rated capacity of 6.6 pounds, which is plenty for me to put my big camera and a monitor on top of it. So what's my opinion of the Magnus VT-200 tripod? It is a $60, mostly plastic tripod. It's not super sturdy. It's not going to be amazingly durable. What it is lightweight. And just like when they say that the best camera is the one that you have on you, the best tripod is the one that you can carry around easily. So I've carried around a much heavier tripod, and I'm willing to work with that sometimes. But sometimes I just want a very lightweight tripod. With a small camera, the VT-200 is a lightweight tripod. It's smooth enough and sturdy enough to get the job done, and at 60 bucks, it's cheap enough too. Hey everybody, I'm Bob Kovacs. Thanks for watching.